Alright guys, welcome back again. It is the GSL Code A round of 32, and it is our last match actually in the round of 32, isn't it? Yeah. And I think we've actually saved the best for last today, in my opinion.
I think this is going to be the closest match that we've passed today. It's going to be IM's YoDa versus NSHosa's Sage.
Yeah, Sage. Everybody's talking about this guy. A lot of people are saying that he's the best Protoss they've seen in a long time. Is he going to be able to live up to the hype? In a lot of ways, he kind of reminds me of like the Protoss version of Dongregu with the way everyone's talking about him lately.
I feel similarly about Sage as how I used to feel about Puzzle. And my dreams of Puzzle actually were shattered last night. I was so excited about Puzzle, and then when he played in Codex for the first time, I was like, oh, well, he made some silly mistakes. I think it was his nerves. And now I'm like, I watched him play last night, and I'm like, I don't know why I ever had faith in this guy. Well, put him in the Protoss trash can.
Well, it's similar with Tassadar, actually, too. You know, the other finalists from that season of Code A. A lot of people were saying he's a good Protoss, but, you know, Select just absolutely dismantled him yesterday.
Some Protosses are just losing hope, I think, right now. I'm serious.
I know.
When I see these 4 gates from players like Trickster, and when I see them from Puzzle, I'm like, what?
But you also, on the other side of things, you see a lot of Protoss trying to innovate too, you know, and trying to find a way to overcome. And those are the guys that are ultimately going to be successful. You know, the Protoss players that just try to rely on the old stuff, you know, working are like those Zerg players from a couple months ago that just tried to keep relying on the same stuff to be Protoss that wasn't working. You know, we need Protosses coming in here and shaking things up a little bit. And we're starting to kind of see that, I think, a little bit. I think next month and the month after that are going to be a lot better for Protoss.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
here is YoDa.
That's right.
This guy's shown some awesome TVP. Actually, really well known for being the first guy to go fast cloak ghosts in TVP as well. Likes to use a lot of new play.
Made it all the way to the up and downs last season. Couldn't quite get into Code S, but you know, again, I feel like he was pretty close. Don't know if he's quite ready, but you know, he's definitely in the running, I would say.
I would say so as well.
Yeah.
Definitely a top-notch player, but like you're saying, I think he put it best when he's not quite ready yet. See if he's.
We'll see
if he's been able to improve enough in between seasons here. To make it through. He's playing against Sage, who's obviously considered to be one of the best Protosses in Korea, and you know, we haven't seen that much of him. He did really well in the Team League, but that was really our only glimpse of Sage as foreigners. So we're gonna have to take a look at him again and see if he can live up to his name.
There he is, NSHoso Sage, and NSHoso, a team that kind of has a reputation for producing pretty good Protoss players. We'll have to see if this one can be up to par with some of the others that we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen Tassadar, we've seen San.
Yeah.
Obviously Sage coming out as well here.
And
Bonbons did pretty well for a while.
He's okay.
He's kind of fallen down a little bit, but he was good for a while.
These guys joking with each other in the lobby here. I don't think there's a lot of nerves going in this match. It looks like they just want to play a good game, have some fun, try to win, beat each other. It is Danger Days, so I'm sure there's a little bit of tension in there, but they're both looking pretty relaxed. So, our first map is going to actually be Daybreak. Good map for a TVP. And then we're going to go to Terminus, and if we need it, we're going to go to Dual Site.
Yeah, so 2 large maps, 2 macro-oriented maps first up, and then our smaller map will actually be our ace match map if that's required.
Yeah.
Get ready, I think this is going to be our best match of the day.
Countdown is finished, the loading screen is commencing. Who's going to come out on top? I'm YoDa or NSHoso Sage. Let's find out. This is the GSL. Down at the bottom of the map, in the yellow, from the team Incredible Miracle, is a Terran that, like YoDa in Empire, is a little bit crazy. He is...
I am YoDa.
YoDa was a little bit crazier in Empire, wasn't he? Yeah. You know, he lived on Dagobah by himself for like 30 years or something like that. More like 20 years. He'll drive a person crazy, I don't know. And up at the top of the map, we have our blue Protoss from the team NSHoso.
NSHoso Sage.
Now, I've seen some of this guy's games, but it was a while ago. It was about 3 months ago, and he was playing really well at that point. That was when I was casting the Clash of Houses tournament, and it was the in-house NS Hoso tournament, and he did really well in that. So he's always been kind of a dominant force on the team. For some reason, just hasn't been able to make it into the GSL proper until now.
Yeah, we've had a lot of players like that in Korea. And by the looks of things, Sage is definitely going to be going for a Nexus first.
Yeah. Certainly could be sending that probe down. Just decides to do some scouting with it, though. He is saving up, though.
Actually going to scout.
And looks like it's going to be a 1-Rax gasless expand from YoDa as well. So both these guys going for a pretty economic opening this game.
Yeah, this is actually, in most cases, the best a Protoss could hope for in build order versus build order, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
A Nexus first against a 1-Rax expand, because the 1-Rax expand can't put a lot of pressure on the Nexus first. And of course, when the Protoss gets the Nexus first, like, he just gets it for free, and Terran's like playing a little bit defensively. But he's actually going to bunker here because he realizes what's going on.
Oh, right out of range of the Nexus.
Doesn't have vision because it's still warping.
Really well done.
This is actually so cool to see. This very rarely actually gets to happen in Protoss versus Terran. It happens in Terran versus Zerg all the time.
Well, this is a very YoDa thing to do, too. He likes to do these kind of crazy little aggressive things throughout his games.
And you know what? The bunker's going to finish, and the probe is just now coming down to check for this, and it's too late.
It's too late, probe, it's too late.
He really did try to make it.
I know. All right, so the Marine is going to get there. The question is, can Sage prevent the Marine from getting in the bunker with the probe? He's doing a lot of damage to it already with those. And he might actually discover the bunker. No, he's going to try to stop the Marine. Some SCVs coming as well. A lot of mining time being lost by Sage right now, but he is managing to take down the SCVs.
But the Marine is getting close.
Oh, he gets in. And wow, a lot of probes are going to be taken down, but it looks like the bunker will be lost fairly soon as well.
And a few SCVs being taken out as well. In fact, about an even number of SCVs lost. In total, both players killing a few. 3 killed for YoDa, 2 killed for Sage.
So that was really dramatic when they zoomed in and saw the Zealot cut apart the Marine.
19 probes to 18 SCVs right now.
Yeah. So yeah, when the dust clears, things pretty even.
Yeah, it was a pretty even trade for those guys. I like that little pressure move. If Sage had not reacted perfectly, the game could have actually ended with him.
Yeah. So a testament to his skill right there, holding off something that I would imagine he probably doesn't need to deal with too often.
Yeah, it's not a common follow-up, and in fact, YoDa was so sure that he was going for a Nexus first that without even scouting anything, he had his SCV rally to make a bunker.
Yeah.
Then he actually changed his mind. He was like, well, let me just make sure. Then he saw the Nexus and he was like, okay, and then he made a bunker. But you could tell when I saw that outline, I don't know if you guys were able to see it on your screen, I was like, YoDa's definitely played against this guy a lot before. If he's so sure that he's going to go Nexus first on this map.
Well, the way we saw him chatting and joking to each other in the lobby, it's clear that these guys have a bit of a history too.
Yeah.
Which is always, I think that always makes for the best matchup, you know, because then there's a lot of like trickery and fake outs that happen. It's kind of like when you see a team kill situation where you have teammates playing against each other, you see a lot of creative
Those
stuff.
are always really exciting matches.
Absolutely.
Well, YoDa has obviously continued to rally out Marines. Got his tech lab up. Hasn't started Stim yet.
Huh. Yeah.
Nor concussive shells. Gonna go for Stim first, though. Pretty common to see Stim first when you do this kind of opening, because you have mostly Marines want to get that Stim out ASAP.
Right, exactly. And not to mention there's nothing you really need concussive shells for on a map this big as well. Although it'd be nice to have it right now to trap that Stalker, but it wouldn't be finished anyway.
His first Marauder, want to catch that, but nope, not allowed.
Good bunker placement too. He didn't, leave any room at all for the Stalker to kind of move around the outside. And a pretty quick factory for YoDa actually, so he's going to be going for those medevacs very quickly. Getting the engineering bay as well, probably wants to get a quick +1 and then start dropping. And it's also good, to get a turret up in the natural too, just to make sure you're safe from any sort of DT run-ins and things like that as well. Those
I like the quick robo. Oh, unfortunately makes the gateway simultaneously with the scan, so the scan saw the extra gateways he was adding, but he doesn't see these 2 gateways that he's adding. So he's actually going up to 6 gates and a robo. Doesn't mean he's necessarily going to do a 6-gate timing attack, but he has that option of being extremely aggressive early on.
Well, the number of gateways too allows him to be a little bit more defensive as well. You know, he can
Yeah, he
warp
doesn't even
in.
necessarily have to use them.
Yeah, he can warp in more units in that emergency situation. Going to be a reactor at Starport very soon for YoDa, so he will indeed be getting those medevacs. Should time out quite nicely. He'll be able to do that pretty shortly after Stim finishes.
Yeah, he's made the medevac choice in a time where a lot of Koreans have decided to go Ghosts, and YoDa himself was one of the first players to really consistently go Ghosts. 2 Forges going down for Sage. Wants to get his upgrades up very quickly.
Well, this map is actually, as we've seen, a little bit difficult to drop on. There's not a lot of room in the bases to drop your units where it can't be seen.
Right.
So I'm a little bit surprised by that choice, actually. It's well, by the same token, it's a long way to run across for that early Ghost EMP push, too. So in a longer game situation, I suppose it might be better to get the medevacs out early on.
Upgrades starting immediately for Sage.
And +1 in combat shields on the way for YoDa as well. You can really tell Sage wants to pump out those upgrades. You know, he's got the Twilight Council, he's got the double Forge going.
Yeah. He is definitely going very gateway heavy. We're going to see probably no Colossi.
Oh, and you see some medevacs, but the medevacs are empty.
Medevacs are empty.
Yeah.
Interestingly, there is a Viking coming out right now.
Huh, okay.
For YoDa. Without seeing any Colossi.
Now, no reaction from Sage as far as seeing those medevacs either.
Yeah.
Oh, and it will actually be a drop, too. This
is going to be a drop, but he is warping in some Stalkers now just in time.
All right.
And if he actually waits with the Stalkers and attacks the medevacs when they're more vulnerable.
Yep. Oh, he's going to drop right on top of him. Yeah, pulls back right away. Nice reaction time by YoDa there. He's pretty quick for a 900-year-old Jedi, isn't he?
Yeah, man. Watch those prequels, see just how quick he used to be.
That's true. Count Dooku found out the hard way. Actually, he kind of won that fight, didn't he? It was a draw.
He was able to escape.
It was a draw.
Spoiler alert for those of you guys who haven't watched Star Wars.
If
you haven't watched Star Wars, I don't know, you should probably take care of that tonight.
Yeah. Oh, and looks like he will manage to trap a couple units there. But there will be more drops in the main of Sage. And are there any units? Yes, there are. So, yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier. And there's a Hellion getting body blocked by a Zealot. All right, but this is what I was kind of talking about earlier, where it's actually kind of tough to make the drops work on this map against really good Protoss.
Yeah, there's so much space around the bases that the ground units can find the drops on.
Yeah.
Unlike Terminus, where there's a lot more room for the drops to kind of hide in the air. And
exactly, yeah.
Just float around and be wherever.
Oh, a Dark Shrine just finishing up for Sage.
That Dark Shrine I was going to talk about a second ago. Dark Shrine's actually going to be, I think, now used only to deter drops. While he moves and attacks in the middle of the map, he wants to... This is his timing where he wants to be aggressive, so he's going to use his Dark Shrine to deter drops. Obviously, he can be a little bit aggressive with it as well. He's actually got a Warp Prism coming towards the main of YoDa, but YoDa's Viking that he made earlier is actually patrolling, looking for that.
Oh, these guys are both really smart players.
They're really smart, and I feel like they know each other's styles quite well.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, he does find the Warp Prism, and this is not patch 1.4 yet, Wolf. There's still not a lot of shields on this thing.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Nope. Goodbye, Warp Prism.
Here comes the timing attack as DT is harassing, but over here at the third base of YoDa, he's losing a ton of SCVs.
Yeah, force field to trap the SCVs as well, getting the Mule at the same time. And he will be forced back, but man, doing a ton of damage. 2 very lucky SCVs surviving there. Wow.
Right now, the worker count is 55 probes for Sage to 52 of YoDa. YoDa didn't lose as many SCVs as he could have. He did pull most of them right away.
Now
almost lost his command server, not quite.
Did you notice, too, that Sage actually got a third down at the 5 o'clock as well? So a little bit of a hidden third, not in the normal place.
Yeah, the factory's going to see it. The reason he made it there actually was because the factory was blocking his normal third location.
I see.
He had that landed there, and since his units were out of position, he wasn't able to. This pylon's going to spot the drop.
Yep.
Before it even reaches the third base.
Gonna have time to warp some stuff in here to deal with that.
Probably gonna warp in some BTs.
And down at the third base of Sage, it looks like he's gonna take out that pylon. Yeah, he does, and he's gonna run to the main. There is a DT there. He's gonna make YoDa use a scan if he wants to do any more damage. Nope, just gonna pick up. Oh, and there's the army right there, so yeah. Probably doesn't want to try to pursue that.
Zealot harassment at the third base of YoDa. Actually going to go for the missile turret so he can do some DT harass as another drop comes down to the third base of Sage.
A couple probes getting taken down. But there should be units there to take care of it relatively quickly. Yeah, he does need, excuse me, to pick up And again, yeah, over at the third base of YoDa, there was some Zealot harassment. And see, this is what I feel like. Remember we were talking about this earlier in the Trickster games, that a good Protoss won't try to attack directly too early on this map?
Yeah, it's
the third base. Yeah, he'll do things like this. He'll do the Zealot harassment, he'll do the DT harassment,
well,
he'll just get a big army in the middle. Yeah,
he did do a direct attack on the base.
Oh yeah.
But but instead of doing it just kind of haphazardly, he made sure that his opponent's army was out in the middle of the map when he did it.
Yeah, you can do it. You just have to be very careful about the planning involved in it. Yeah, it's a little bit riskier on this map. So right now, both armies kind of wandering around the middle of the map. Supply-wise, we do have Sage with about... Actually, no, never mind. They're actually pretty even. Sage slightly ahead by about 5 supply, which is not really much at all.
But as far as upgrades go, +3 weapons is on the way for YoDa. He's already at 1-2. His +2 armor is on the way, and the upgrades of Sage right now are already at 2-2. He hasn't started 3 yet, so there's going to be a time where YoDa has +3 weapons faster.
These DTs out in the middle of the map are just so annoying for Terran to deal with. You have to use a lot of scans. It's kind of a hassle if you're trying to produce Vikings and medevacs to switch it over out to the tech lab, make a rave, and then switch it back. You can just make another starport, but that takes time too. And it's kind of a big hassle dealing with DTs.
Well, YoDa is getting really aggressive in the middle of the map, but he's got to be careful because if Sage catches him at a weird angle in the middle of the map, he could lose all of his units. Sage actually has a ton of Colossi already out. He's got making 2 at a time. He's got 3 Colossi out. He's got range. But at the same time, this actually hasn't been seen by YoDa. YoDa hasn't seen them at all, so he only has 1 Viking out, that same Viking from earlier.
I think he realizes, though, because he is making 2 Vikings at a time now, so he's starting to figure it out. Doesn't see that DT, though. Taking a little bit of damage there. I don't know if this is going to be the best attack here. Oh, yeah, never mind. Good EMPs, that's going to help quite a bit. EMPing the entire army. The Colossus come in from behind, though, and not enough Vikings to deal with that. Looks like he just might have enough bio, though, scanning again to take out some more DTs. And Sage is going to just barely hold, it looks like. They're actually holding pretty well.
Yeah, pretty even trade there. The Stalkers don't have blinks, so they can't chase.
Yeah.
The DTs really came into play there.
Yep,
the probes actually came into play as well. He lost a lot of probes.
Yeah, some losses on both sides when it comes down to it. The supply not too far apart for either player, so like you said, a pretty even trade, I'd say. Looked dangerous for a second with those EMPs, though, but I just got to worry.
I think we're going to see another timing attack at the third base location for YoDa. And, you know, what's been going on during all this time is that Sage has been able to hold a 4th, whereas YoDa hasn't even started one yet. He started a 4th command center, but it's not the right place. It's not even halfway done yet.
Now, one other thing with YoDa, too, you see a lot of Terrans trying to wall off this area that Sage is moving through right now, and YoDa hasn't decided to do that. So that's going to let these units walk right in here, and what does YoDa have to respond with?
Not a whole lot. He is going to have to do some good EMPs. Nice force fields here, and since he has mostly ranged units, that's okay, but he's going to have to retreat. The Vikings doing so much damage to the Colossi. He needs to pick off those Vikings. Does pick them off.
Yeah, good positioning by those Vikings. They're doing a lot of damage to at least one of those Colossi. And Sage does pull away, but he has so many Colossi right
That's
now.
up to 5 Colossi there.
Yeah.
His +2 armor is about, or rather +3 armor is about to finish here.
Oh, man. And this is going to be a slaughter.
It's pretty much a slaughter.
Yep. Yeah, that is a line of charred, broiled bio units for YoDa, and Sage suddenly taking a pretty big jump in supply here.
Colossus getting hit by
GG.
a turret there, but GG.
Yep. And so Sage, you know, I really liked what he did that game. Played really patient, harassed, got that strong army, was able to kind of conceal the Colossus tech a little bit long enough that there weren't a lot of Vikings out. Really good, well-deserved win for Sage.
Yeah, really good harassment, really good positioning on all of his units. He hit the Colossi, just kept dealing with the drops. The drops never really did a lot of damage. The only time where YoDa looked strong was that one attack where he got a good EMP off.
Yeah.
Even then, he was out of scans, couldn't deal with the DTs that were killing his army. And Sage just showed how to play at a high level, multitask, engage in the right area, harass, defend harassment.
Yeah.
He was on top of it all.
This guy's good. Gonna have to see how well he can do in Game 2. It's going to be on Terminus, new and improved. And the new Terminus does let you take 3 bases a little bit easier, too. It's very defensible. Have to see how that impacts the play again. You know, the choke going into the natural is a bit narrower as well. And yeah, I don't know if we see those cross-position spawns. We could be in for kind of a similar game, really. Although I think in that case, warp prisms actually might come into a little bit more.
Yeah,
play.
we saw Sage make a warp prism, but unfortunately, there was a Viking prepared for it. YoDa actually made a Viking for that specific reason and ended up working out.
That's a good idea. I think we're actually going to see that a lot more after the patch when Protoss really start to use that warp prisms. Terran are going to need to start worrying about that more.
He might have actually been able to warp in a DT or two with the new patch if he had just like immediately, as soon as the Viking was there, just warped in one and then let it die.
Well, it's going to be they're going to be a lot more durable. It's going from 40 health, 40 shields to 40 health, 100 shields. If I read the patch notes correctly,
that's correct,
So it's going to be a lot more useful, I think. I like changes like that just make units more useful, That's cool.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be an interesting patch. I heard it hit live on North America. Yeah,
it's live on NA. It was live on SEA yesterday. Who knows when it's going to be live here in Korea.
Well, I can't wait to get on there and mess around with some of that stuff tonight.
Yep.
I played a little bit on the PTR, but when you play on the PTR in Korea, it's always a weird time. In the United States, not very many people play on the PTR anyway, so I'm like, I can't play very many games.
Yeah.
Maybe I play against are really bad, so I'm like, I don't know.
We'll jump on NA and we'll test some things out. You can beat me horribly again for a little while.
I'll try some new proxy robo immortal time attacks.
You should just TVT, then you can be trying stuff and I can be trying stuff. Oh yeah, but you want to try out
I want to try out the Protoss changes.
Forget those.
Well, forget those because the patch hasn't hit here yet.
That's right.
It's YoDa versus Sage Game 2 on Terminus. I am Wolf, and with me is Doa, GSL October.
Yeah.